Sorry about that, folks. It seems we have just a little
Minor technical issue.
minor technical issues. Just minor. Okie dokie. Now we do this. I go to here. Don't do that.
What? Not my fault.
No, it's not your fault. I am displeased. Alright, so now Tom is the only one that's showing up. Okay.
Superstar.
There we go. Everybody's back in business. Look at us. Doing our thing. Restarting the stream yet again. Yay. Now I have to go and more editing. Yay. I blame Sai. This time.
It's your fault. Yes, not mine.
So
It's usually
You're
Yeah.
muted.
yeah. It's fine. So yes. It is a remnant. It's basically leftover psychic magical energy from when this area or this statue was created. So it's kind of like speaking to a hologram. It doesn't have a lot of knowledge, but it does have certain things.
What left over for him? Oh, it.
Yeah.
Okay. First, thank you for compliment. Secondly, you told our friend here, the big guy, something, and I seem he forget. What did you tell him, please? Can you say that again?
I told him he needed to take care of you.
Take care of me.
And I did it. I took care of them.
Yes.
Oh, you. Oh, okay.
This is a dangerous place.
He was literally pulling me in a skeleton, jagged stone.
This is a dangerous place.
Okay. Thank you for telling our friend to take care of us. And look to him very awkwardly, like waiting if you want to say something.
Who's the crazy one now? Just saying.
It almost seems like it's a call and response. Like if you're asking, like think of it as kind of like a really rudimentary magical Siri, right? You have to inquire or do something that elicits a pre-programmed response.
You have to ask it the right questions. Alright, see.
Is it dangerous to enter this room? I point to the room that.
Probably.
Okay, that is a very vague answer. Do you have an... Okay, let me return the vague answer with a vague question. Do you have a good information that can help us how to activate this tower?
Oh, tower activation is with the orbs. Everybody knows that.
Yes, everybody know that. Do you know where's the orbs? Okay, no.
The orb should be inside the key room.
Where's the key?
Yeah.
Located on the 3rd floor, in the central area, where it always is.
Okay.
What floor are we on now?
The 1st floor.
Where's the stairs to the 3rd floor? Do you know where Leon is? You know. How do you say?
What are you guys doing?
Oh, wait. Krankus would want to ask something.
You know where our angel friend is?
The silence is deafening.
Okay. I'm gonna
You
open
got the door open, right, Jorah?
Yes, it did not explode in my face.
I told you, we believed in you. I just had to check something out in the other room, that's all.
I believe in you also, and I will open the door.
All right. You open the door.
Oh.
You see what appears to be a storage room full of relics. Ignore the gold laying all over the place here. This is basically a storage room. It looks like it holds relics for the tower. You see a couple of rolled up tapestries, a couple of what appears to be religious icons. Give me a religion check.
Okay. Where's my religion? I'm rolling really bad.
Oh, that's enough. Oh, hold on a second. I had to sneeze.
My rolls have been in the toilet today.
If I did not have like
Yeah.
this talent, I will be screwed.
Oh. I'm sneezing. So
Bless you.
the religious icons all seem to be various representations of Krakadon.
Wow.
Ember,
Mm-hmm.
you should come here. I think it might be very interesting.
Okay.
But I will, before you enter, I will check if there anything. I will look up, see if there a stone will fall on our head. Look the ground if there any wire, any glyphs.
No, you're fine. Everything in you passed the one detrimental thing to get into the room. It was pretty tough too. You know that if you weren't as skilled as you were, anybody else would have probably been blasted out of their shorts. Probably several somebodies.
Oh God.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you think is there anything here will help us in our task?
Having a quick look around, does there seem to be anything that's
Well, you
like
see
either a manuscript or a book or anything like that?
you'll have to spend what you do see is, like I said, the icons are most of them are tridents with a storm cloud or some representation of storms, lightning bolts, that kind of thing, for Krakadon, who is the eternal storm, the storm lord.
Yeah.
Of Krakadon of the thunder and wind. You know that it is his domains are nature, tempest, and war, which kind of fits for where you're at.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, this seems to be. Okay. Is there anything else or anywhere else leading from where we are?
You do find a couple of manuscripts. They're old. They seem to be preserved quite nicely.
Okay.
But it's not something you want to just like casually leaf through. It's more of a,
Fair enough.
yeah, like if it's kind of like finding an original, first print Bible. If you found it in a closet somewhere, you'd be like, that's cool, but I should probably wear gloves in a contained area. There are several.
Yeah, 100%.
There are several tridents in here.
Jura,
Yeah.
these seem to be more your area of expertise rather than mine. There's pointy trident things in there.
Well, Jorah's in there with you.
Yeah. I'm with you.
Yeah, you see a couple of tridents. Jorah, one of them stands out to you because it looks like it's made out of coral.
We'll take that one.
I will look to it and walk closer and like, extend
I'm
my
gonna
hand.
ask. I'm going to walk back outside and stand in front of the statue that was speaking to us
Okay.
and say, is there anything in that room that we need in order to be able to align the spires?
No answer.
Okay, well, I'll take that as a no then.
You can probably assume that this statue doesn't know what was brought in and out of the room
that's fair
over the
enough.
course of the past, 1,000 or so years.
Yeah,
Yeah,
fair enough.
Jorah, so you get up to this thing. It looks like the handle is made out of bone, like some sort of, really, strong bone. It's probably about it's staff sized. The ends are capped with what is a very hard coral, and it has two handholds on it where you can hold it like one-handed or two-handed, that are also in coral. And then the blades, the tines come up. They're made of coral and then tipped with bone.
Oh,
And the way they're tipped is the middle one is an arrowhead, so it's the triangle, and then the outer two is the right half of a triangle and the left half. So it's not
yeah.
four. So it's
Yeah.
they're only slided, they're only angled to the outside and then flat against the bone on the inside. Give me a history check.
Do I have history? Nope, I don't have it, but I'll try. 15.
That's right.
You have it. Oh, okay. Jorah, you have an advantage because you are a fish person.
Okay. I roll again, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I'll take the
17.
28.
17. Well, Ember, you're not going to know about this. This is not in This is not in your wheelhouse. This is most assuredly an underwater thing. Jorah, this seems like one of the lost tridents of your people.
Oh. I'm holding the trident at the moment. Look to it, and as like that memory, even it's like jumbled, but one of it flashed that been lost, and one of the treasure that what now Jorah fighting for it, but it's still one of the believe he need to rebuild or destroy, but he idea of rebuilding this thing need to return and be built with a place being destroyed, but I'm gonna hold this trident at the moment.
Okay, so you pick up the trident, and you could immediately kind of hear. I'll show it to you. This is what it looks like.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that's cool.
Jorah.
Yeah.
There you go. You guys will have time to examine it later. It is a Trident of Fish command.
Oh,
It allows you to once expend 1 charge to cast Dominate Beast on anything that has an innate swimming speed. DC
you
15.
want? Take it, Joey. you might as well have it, mate. You're probably going to need it more than anybody else here.
Yeah.
You're the puddle boy.
As a boy.
I will take that as a compliment. Thank you, Krankus.
Jorah, while you're examining this and this is one of the lost tridents, there's a set of tridents. You know that each king of the major empires of the Merfolk, the Tritons, the Sahuagin, the Kuatoa, and the Sihili all had one. So there's 5 of them. This one you're pretty sure is the one from the Sahuagin.
Oh.
So the Sahuagin, the king in the major city of the Sahuagin, because there's kings and then there's kings and then there's the guys, just regular, the head chieftain of the Sahuagin tribes would have carried this trident.
Actually, there's something now pop up and might use it in the future.
We've got now somebody to trade for Semaphore.
It's not about trade. It's about lead, but that I'll leave it for future. The other trident in the front of me, are they normal?
Yeah, they're just normal. They're normal tridents. Most of them seem to be cast out of either silver, with light that you can see lightning bolts, or they're all very intricate, but they all seem to be made out of silver or something that won't rust underwater, right? Or coral or bone, and they all have depictions of either thunderbolts or storms or some form of sea creatures on them. One of them has a picture of a narwhal, carved across the base of the tines, so that at the base of the fork where the tines come off, it's emblazoned across there. And some of these look like they're fairly sturdy. The coral ones, if they're made properly, are very dangerous. They're cheap to make for your people and the merfolk and stuff. They're cheap to make because coral is freaking everywhere. And the danger of them is that why they were used is you could break off the tines inside your enemy, because it's hard, but properly trained like you are, you can stab them and then twist it and snap off a tine, one of the tips into your enemy, which made it pretty much assured that they were going to die without some sort of magical healing.
God. How many? I took one now. How many now in front of me?
There's about 4 or 5 of them.
I will look to Amber. These tridents should be returned to this sea. I'm gonna take them all back.
They're very unwieldy. They won't fit in the bag of holding. They're very unwieldy. They're 5 feet. If you've ever seen a real trident, it's about 5 feet long.
Yeah.
Think Aquaman's trident, and now you have 5 of them, because they're all about almost 6 feet long from tip to tip.
And I cannot hold the 5 behind me to be
Yeah. Most of them, you can understand, some of them are ceremonial, the one that's carved entirely out of bone. You would never use that in combat. That is for ceremonies, probably here at the quote Temple of Krakadon, right? because Krakodon is the closest thing to the god of the sea that the Elder Gods have, because they kind of overlap with Tempest, right? And Nadara's nature, Orad's life, Selosana's travel. Like they all kind of like there's no like Poseidon, right? In this kind of in this pantheon. This is a more esoteric pantheon, unlike like the Greeks or the Romans or the Norse have, where everybody's got a job and that's the only job they do, right? This is more of a family kind of thing where okay, I'll take care of the storms and the beasts and stuff. And, him and Nadara kind of quibble. Like Nadara's in charge of like the cool animals, and Krakodon gets like the octopus and the krakens and the things that are a little weirder.
I will take one more trident, put it in my bag if I can.
Okay, so which one? You want the coral one, the silver one, the bone one, and then there's one that's made out of just bronze. That looks like it was probably a piece of a set that would be like you would just like put it on the wall to represent that you have one, because bronze is pretty crappy to use in the water.
Yeah.
To be fair.
No, I'm gonna take some. Go ahead, Krankus.
You want me to hold one? I can hold one if you want, I guess. Strap it to my back.
Yeah, if you can, please. I don't think I can stealth with holding a true trident in my back, so I'm gonna take the. I will go with the. Okay, out of character. Like if Joragal ID, he want to give it the other one to. Oh God, I always forget her name.
Silverfall.
Sorry.
Casmi. Or Silverfall.
Yeah. No, Casmi.
Casmi?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Well, the one you would the one you would give Casmi is the magic one.
Yeah.
Technically, if you wanted to keep one yourself, the one that is going to serve you best in combat is Jorah thinking combat or cool, because the cool one you take the bone one. The one best for combat is the basically the stainless steel silver etched one.
Yeah, Joragal will take, because he's always practical.
Yeah.
Jorah.
Out of the water, you also know that out of the water, these things are kind of heavy. Like they're ones that are crafted for. And Krankus, you know this. Normal tridents. That are crafted for fighting underwater, which you've had to do a couple of times, but not a lot, because there's not a big draw, because it's hard to watch and it's hard to fill up a good pool, right?
Yep.
But the couple of times you've seen them, most of them are made out of wood with like bronze tips, because it's cheap to make and they're kind of light. The ones that are crafted, Jorah, the ones that are crafted underwater are much heavier, because the water basically makes them lighter underwater.
Yeah.
Right? But out of the water, they're kind of unwieldy. Right? So this silver one, while it's really cool, nobody except maybe Krankus or a highly skilled fighter like Krankus could use it out of the water. It's just... So for statistical purposes, you will have a -2 to attack and damage with it if you try to use it not in the water.
Yeah, then I'm okay with that.
Yeah, it's just like you said. It's just they're very unwieldy. Like if you build something to be used underwater and you take it out of the water, it's like, oh, that sucks. Like it doesn't have the right balance.
Yeah, 100%.
Actually, now I think about it, Joragal don't use trident, and now I'm thinking about it. The reason why I take one of these, actually, to put it in one of the, like when he tried to rebuild what the destroyed city. So I'm gonna take the cool one then.
Take the cool one.
Yeah.
All right. The intricate bone one.
Yes. So I'm gonna take the intricate bone one.
All right.
And when
it has it also has the same properties where it's a -2 to hit, -2 to damage. But if you roll a 1 on this, it has a chance to break.
Yeah,
Right,
no,
yeah.
I'll just take it and
Yeah. Well, just write
leave
that
it
down
with
so
family.
because I'm not making
Yeah,
one right now. Just
yeah,
write it
no
down
problem.
and we'll add it because you're not going underwater anytime soon, as far as
Yeah,
I know.
so let me add that.
And Crankus, would you take the silver one then?
Yeah.
Um,
I'd whichever one Jorah wants me to carry. I don't really care because I'm not going to wield it. So I just.
well, okay, so
Yeah, I'll be
so
his
you would
pack
carry.
mule.
So you will have you will have the bone one, Jorah. You will have the trident and fish command because that's one trident for you, one trident for Crankus. So you guys can carry them.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Crankus, you have the bone one. It's a regular trident. It's just out of water. It's -2 to hit, -2 to damage, and on a critical fumble, it has a chance to break off one of the tines.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Give me both of you, Manam and Sai, give me a Arcana check. As Jorah's like taking this bone thing and looking at it like this is really really cool and.
Man, I'm rolling bad.
This is nope. 19s are good enough.
Oh,
This bone one,
This.
this one and the silver one, as you're looking over them, Jorah, you know that both of these are so well made that you could probably enchant them. If you find somebody who can do that, they're both incredibly well made to the point that you could enchant these.
okay. So I'm gonna hold the
They're
bone
like
on.
master crafted quality.
Oh yeah, they're mass. Definitely. The
Yeah,
coral one again. The coral ones are used like it looks like somebody collected a bunch of these things from whatever because it's Krakadon symbol, and they just kind of use them in different ceremonies.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna
Yeah.
take the fish command and the bone, and I will leave the trident of steel with the Krankers. I will add it in my inventory, but
Yeah.
just to remember.
Okay, so Crankus is carrying that one. All right, so you're carrying both those. All right,
Let me...
Ember, as you're looking at this
Yeah.
statue, you're standing out here and you're like asking a couple questions. It's just not answering you because it either doesn't know
Yeah.
or, it's at the limits of what it can do.
Yeah.
Man, this guy looks familiar. Like this is not a. Like, you haven't interacted with a lot of humans
Yeah.
in your past, but this guy's something about his face definitely brings up like either you know him or you know one of his ancestors or you've seen a picture of him somewhere else.
Okay. I'm going to very thoroughly memorize his face, so if I used like a minor illusion or something like that, I could recreate an image.
All right, give me a intelligence check to see how well you can recall his features.
Got advantage on this as well.
Yep.
Nice. 18.
Pretty good. Pretty good. You will get a I'll say that you'll get a +1 to the DC of someone trying to notice that it's not him, depending on what kind of illusion it is, of course.
Sure.
There are two boxes here. Are they like closed or open? Or...
No, that's they're open. You guys have gone through them. It's got like I said, it's got a couple of the manuscripts in it, some scrolls in there. A lot of this stuff looks really really old, like nobody's been in here for quite some time. It's not hard to imagine why, considering the problems you guys are facing.
Okay. If there's nothing else that will interest.
No. There's,
that-
like I said, there's some tapestries. If you unfurl one, it's basically the silver and the deep bluish color with Krakadon symbol on it in silver, It's basically just a tapestry of that, and you unfurl another one, and it looks like it's a shark, and another one looks like a giant lightning bolt. Like they're well made, and you could probably fetch some money for them.
Yeah.
But you're pretty sure they need to be hung up in here, like they were rotated out for ceremonies or something. Again, like this looks like it looks like a closet, but it's a really well guarded closet.
Yeah.
Are you doing a thorough search of the room, Jorah?
Yeah.
All right. So give me a perception check then.
I forget. I have always advantage in perception.
Yep.
It's guidance.
And guidance. 28.
Yep. You are utterly surprised that you didn't notice this the first time you started going through this box. It's got a false bottom.
Where's
If I was going to say, if only Leon were here.
yeah,
Sooner.
Leon is so disappointed in you.
Hey, I'm looking around. I get out from the room. Look, I get out from the room, then I stop. Then I turn back.
You're like,
open the door.
If I don't check the bottom of these, the spirit of Leon's going to come back and beat me to death.
Yeah, and I will check
Pretty much.
that.
I mean, let's face it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you pull this open, and there is, it looks like a. I'm getting some feedback from somebody.
It will be not
No.
me.
So it looks like the symbol of Krakadon, but it is as you unwrap this thing, it's the symbol of Krakadon. But it looks like it's made out of like this pulsing lightning energy. Like you can see that it's got a solid form underneath, but it's got like this, like every so often there's this little flash of like this purplish electric energy that courses around it every so often.
I'm gonna hold it, look to it.
Jorah, give me a intelligence check, please.
Intelligence.
You have advantage.
Okay, I'll take that advantage. 22.
It's a key. You've seen a lot of keys. This is a key. There's no doubt about it.
Okay.
Now, as you're looking at it, you're like, oh, I could have touched this to the glyph and it would have turned the glyph off and let me just open the door and I wouldn't have had to have destroyed the glyph. But why would you put the key that unlocks it inside the room that it's locked inside? Maybe it unlocks something else as well.
Yeah, I'm looking at. Okay. Good.
But you recognize, because you're looking at it and you're looking at it and you're like, that's the thing that I scribbled out. Like you can tell where the like you made a mark across the. You walk outside and you look at the door, and sure enough, as you kind of look at it, you're like, oh, that's the lightning bolt that I basically scribbled in half.
Looking at it, why the hell he hide it?
Maybe it unlocks something more important.
Yeah, like I'm thinking.
Or maybe there's more than one of these, right?
Yeah.
A lot of times they make more than one, so maybe the head priest here had one, his second in command had one, the janitor or the keeper or somebody. It's not unheard of to have a couple of different keys. But since you're looking at it, you're like, I'm a rogue, that's a key.
Yep, that's a key. I no longer have to scribble thing maybe explode in my face.
Yeah.
Just to be sure, because now I remember Leon, I check one box to fall false bottom. I'll check the other box. So because just to make double check.
Yes. Underneath that one is a small pamphlet. The pamphlet is, it appears to be a history or, well, I say pamphlet, it's a couple of pages. It's like a small notebook. And it basically notes, as you open it, it lists the head priest every so often. Like whenever a new head priest is installed, you don't recognize any of the dates at all. Because there's a number and there's a couple of letters, and you're like, I don't. That's not how we keep track of time. Like those years don't make any sense. You do know somebody who's much older than you.
Hey,
Technically.
Amber.
Hello.
I point the pamphlet at her. Do you recognize? Well, it talk about please the name, but this number before me. Not trying to.
Yeah, even Josiah, the Gaul, like your original memories are like, nah, that's not us, right?
Okay, let me have a look at it and see what I think.
Ember, you look at it before your time.
Okay.
You can infer that it was probably before the Great Protection, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But there's again, you guys are delving into records that have not been seen in over 1,000 years or more.
Yeah, yeah.
So you have no reference for it. You're like, I don't know. And it looks like it stops. Okay. And you're like, you can count probably if the numbers are, it looks like the numbers are counting up. Like there was some thing in the past where they started at 0 and the numbers go up. So it's not counting backwards like we do from like 500 to 499 to, backwards to an event. It looks like it's counting up. It looks like there's about 1,200 to 1,500 years worth of names in here. So this place stood here for a really long time before whatever happened.
Yeah.
But if you guys, but as you guys have learned, you don't know when it happened and when people started keeping track of stuff in a new time, because most everybody was dead because of the destruction that happened.
Yeah. Okay. I will leave that to you until we find someone older. And I know one. I don't want to talk to him. I don't want to talk to her.
Well, we know. To be fair, we know several.
Yeah, and I don't want to talk to any of them because, as I said, I know 3
No,
people.
I don't want to talk to them. I don't want to talk to any of them either. I just pointing out we do know.
We know of people with all sorts of information. They all suck.
So,
so you guys, so where are you going? You guys have been here, and that's a sewer. And you've been over here. You haven't gone this way. You haven't been into this room. And you haven't really explored this side either.
Yeah, Jorah will start walking around, make sure the key in his hand to each room, see if it is, And do you want to move our token?
Where are you guys going? You're heading over this way?
I don't see anything. Can you ping, please?
Yeah, this way.
Yes.
Okay. I'm assuming standard formation.
Yeah, Crank is in the first.
Are you guys over here?
You lead the way, man. We're all good.
You guys have this door here. As you go ahead and move your tokens around, now that you're on that side of the map.
Okay, I'm moving my token. Little bit.
There's a door to your south, and the hallway goes up, and you can kind of make out a door to your north.
Okay, let's check the closet door and make sure there are no glyph on it.
Nope.
Right. Okay.
Go ahead and open it.
Wave the key at it. Wave the key at it. I'm sure that'll work.
Okay.
Yeah, you find a small bedroom. Again, this is not unheard of in, towns towers and keeps and stuff. Probably one of the servants' rooms.
I'll start.
There is nothing of interest in here. A couple of kegs. Crankus, you can smell the alcohol in one of these kegs. It is not good. I mean,
Oh no.
you know, you can make wine, and after a certain couple of years, it's really good, and then it gets a little better with age. This has gone past that.
This is bad vinegar now. I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Even I wouldn't drink it.
Okay,
Okay, so
there's something you don't want to drink it. Take a point. I'll walk.
So there's a door to the north, and it continues around this way.
Okay, I will do what I do always. Make sure there are no glyphs in the door.
Nope, no glyphs. I'll let you know if there's a glyph.
Okay. Oh God, there's something cracking.
That's Sai throwing away his garbage.
that would be. Sorry.
All right, going in.
I don't want. I'm scared.
So as you enter, you see along the walls. So each one of these pillars has. Oh, I'm getting feedback again from somebody.
I think that's Tom.
Okay.
Can't
Each
be
one-
me. Or...
Yeah, each one of these pillars has on two sides from this door, and you see another door. Where'd you go? You see another door over here. So each one of these pillars has tapestries hanging from them. Most of them are like completely worn out. You can make out a couple of them, again, like the tapestries you saw in the other room, symbols of Krakadon. You do notice that one of them kind of resembles the statue of Vidian, the thing of Vidian. Because there's 3, 6, 7, 8. There's 10 of them. The 4 in the middle are devoted to the symbols of the elder gods, and the outside ones are depictions of various things of Krakadon. In this corner here, and in these little alcoves, you find small little statuaries of various shapes and sizes, like up here, back here. It looks like those little candle votives. Some of them are like small altars with a little, the votary candles, right? Where you would come to worship. Like this one here has a small ivory statue of what you would assume is Krakadon. Basically, he's got a lightning bolt in one hand and a trident in the other. The face is kind of worn off, probably from people rubbing it or touching it or kissing it or whatever.
Are all of the gods represented here in different alcoves, or is it all Krakadon?
It's all Krakadon here.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's cool.
But these 4 pillars in the center have the tapestries. Have tapestries that you can assume. Some of them are in different colors, and you can kind of make out this. Robin is not depicted, of course.
Why I'm not surprised.
But Manam, over here in this corner.
Okay, I'm half my face in the wall.
Oh, sorry. I don't know why I moved you. So right here, there is. It looks like that. These two have like urns set in them. All 4 of these in the back have urns set into them.
Is this urn for like?
Oh yeah, once you start looking at them, there's names inscribed on the side of them.
Yeah, I just thought so.
They're very difficult to read, because they're in ancient common.
Oh.
Right. Okay.
So you can make out 90% of it. It's kind of like reading Old English,
Yeah.
like old English. It appears that you recognize some of these names. It looks like these are all of the former head priests. And these are very intricate.
I mean,
They're all very intricate.
These urns.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. I mean, I was going to say that it could be that once the head priest dies, his ashes are interned into the urn and his name is inscribed on it, so he mingles with his god or something
Yeah.
like that. I mean,
Well, yeah, like that, or they're here because they're revered, so people can come and say, like, this was my priest, and here's the new guy, and this guy saved my family, or this guy blessed my son, or basically they're honorifics, right? Some of them are carved in. Some of them are like the tridents. They're carved in. Some of them are carved in ferrous metals. Some of them are carved in coral. Some of them are carved in bone. It looks like even a few of them are carved out of a gemstone that's only found under in the deep. You notice it. It's known as deep tantalite, Jorah. You know that it was one of the few items that the surface world desperately wanted as a gemstone because it's almost impossible to get a hold of. In your time, it was like diamonds on the surface and deep tantalite from the deep, from the ocean were like the top two tiers of, things. And there are like three of them that are carved out of this. Jorah, based on your understanding of how expensive these are, something of that size, because they're all about a little bit larger than like a canister you would put on your shelf to hold like flour or something, that at that size, at that amount of tantalite, you're looking at 5,000-6,000 gold back then. Today, you have that since you've been alive, it has become less and less prevalent, so the price is probably 2 or 3 times that.
Less, not more.
More.
Oh, more.
It has become, yeah. Well, as the number of kingdoms that are in the ocean go down, and the number of the amount of tantalite that is available goes down, the price goes up.
Yeah. Here's a question: how moral is Jorgal to take something from the dead? And knowing this place is like it's hard, but I think
so based on your now connection to Thandra, you would never, and unless specifically directed by her, disturb a burial site under any circumstances.
Yeah, that's good. That's why I asked. I'm looking like we
grave robber.
leave.
So undead, it goes like undead. The big undead, right? Like sentient undead, liches, vampires, liches, that kind of shit. Right underneath that is the poor souls who have been animated against their will, revenants and things like that, ghouls, skeletons, and then grave robbers.
Yeah. Then
right, at the top of the food chain, like there are bigger evils, but grave robbing is something that Thandra supremely frowns upon, because the dead should be left alone. Period. You don't raise them. You don't mess with them. You don't steal their shit. It's just
Jorah will take one knee and pray to Thandra for these souls that been departed for thousands of years, but just a reminder that...
Give me a religion check.
Oh, okay. Where was my religion? Please, above 10. Above
Oh.
10. 22.
Jorah,
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
you have you feel a presence as you pray for these poor lost souls who, while not of your patron, are holy men of the pantheon. You feel a presence about you. You have a +1 bonus to all your saves for the next 24 hours.
Oh, very nice.
Wow. Nice.
Excellent.
Like the moment I feel like in his mind, he just what he did because he is now the person that Sandra give him this task, his mission, and he's
Yep.
accepted. So
Oh, yeah.
that's the reason. Like there's no reason for us to do that. But he's not like the moment he feel something now helping and kind of soothing that.
Now I would like you to give me a wisdom save.
Oh God. Where's my wisdom save? Oh God.
Yep. You have a
11,
12, so you get a +1 to that.
Yeah. 12.
You have a deep desire that you manage to fight off, but you can hear Josiah,
Oh God.
that constant fighting that you're having. You can
Yeah.
you can almost hear him. Like you have this deep feeling of stupid. They don't care. They're dead. Doesn't matter what happens to them now. They're gone. Like you have that intense feeling kind of
Yeah.
well up. Like you're doing this prayer and you can feel Thondra's presence, and only because Thondra's presence is with you at the moment does this not turn you to just like dump these ashes out and pocket this crap, right? Like
Yeah.
it's really difficult for you because you thought about it, right? Like you were thinking about
Yeah.
it, and
Yeah.
you fought it off there for a second and go, no, these guys are, I'm going to do what Thondra wants. I'm going to recognize this fact, and that really kind of set it off, right? That other part of you that you've been fighting with is kind of like, oh, are you stupid? You know how much that's worth? Screw these guys. They're fucking dead. Right?
yeah. Actually, I think that what like at first they're dead, but still thing was the moral of Jorgal, and now Josiah wanted like it's close the practical thing that we need that thing that it will assist us in the future. But at the
Yeah.
same time, as a respect
Yeah.
for Thundra,
Your respect is a
and-
little more. Plus the other thing is like, I've got more money than I know what to do with. Money is not the problem that we're having, right?
Yeah.
Money and items are not the thing, right? It's information that is our problem, right?
Yeah.
But put it this way: if we had to liquidate all our assets and I went and raided the guild,
you
back,
could buy Embry.
Yeah.
In the state it's
I mean,
in right
I-
now,
I-
you could own Embry. Probably wouldn't cost you much, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I reckon we could scare up about 500,000 in gold if we needed it.
yeah.
So I think
Oh,
we could
easily.
put dollars.
You see, Joro, there are moments of him like look like he cracked like side his head, this feeling that calling him, then like shake his head and stand up, and like after finish praying, and he will turn back to his friend and told them, "Let's leave."
Where did
them,
Krankus wander off to?
I don't know.
I don't see Krankus's.
Oh, it's here. Here.
Oh, there he is. All right. So Krankus, you're walking around here, and the one thing you notice is, there seems to be a lot of symbology of water animals or creatures that live in or
In the
about,
water, yeah.
well, or around the water. Like they're not just underwater creatures. There's a couple of them are look like birds that nest near the water, right? Like gulls and things like that. There's depiction of that. And you get kind of the sense that the elder gods were not petty enough to tell the animal lords that they're not in charge of their own group, right? Like it, whereas you were raised, and along with everybody else who lives here, that there's the embodiment of the animal spirits, and every animal spirit is fine, but there wasn't a animal lord. Like there was Mother Bear and and stuff like that, but there wasn't like a supreme ruler of each animal group, or you've never heard of the animal lords themselves. There certainly weren't any gods, right? It was, you worship the sun, you worship the harvest, you worship the rains, and things like like the embodiment of these ideas. And now that you've come across the fact that you literally know without a doubt that there's this pantheon of elder gods, right? You've seen it, right? You've felt it,
Right.
You've witnessed this, and you've kind of had this feeling of, well, what about me? Like, yes, the animal lords are cool and all, but they're not gods, not really, right?
Yep.
But now you're technically in a temple, like you kind of saw it in Thandra's temple. Now you're seeing it again in what appears to be a temple to Krakadon, that there was this harmonious balance between the elder gods and like the animal kingdom in and of itself, where the animal lords had this autonomy, right, to do what they wanted to do, and weren't punished for it except for the queen that you destroyed, right? the one that wanted more than her station, the one that wanted to climb out of the middle management, as it were, right? Like, she wanted out of middle management and wanted a seat at the table, and the rest of the animal lords are like, no, you're going to get us all in trouble, right? Look, we got a good thing here. Don't be rocking the boat, right? Because if we have to go to war with these gods, we're going to lose because we're not them, right? We can only bring so much power to bear, which is why they banished her.
But Nadara is basically the goddess of kind of nature.
Yeah.
And then different gods have got sort of dominion over various elemental types, or types of, god of the mountains, god of the oceans, etc.
Yeah.
And the animals that fall within those areas kind of fall under that god. Is that kind of how it works?
Yeah, it kind of, think of it as, like I said, think of it as more like middle management, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Think of it as more like middle management. The animal lords are in and of themselves very powerful, extra dimensional beings, right? Extra planar beings.
Yeah.
But they're not on demigods. Like, they're not even demigod status. Like, they're kind of below that. They're slightly less powerful than your uncles and your mom, right? Elemental forces contain a lot of power because it generates a lot of energy, right? There's the plane of fire, like there's a whole plane of just fire, right? Plane of earth, plane of air, plane of water, the chaotic plane of limbo, right? There's a lot of that energy. Whereas the animals, you'll find a lot of the animals in like the Elysium. You'll find a lot of them in the Great Forest, which is where most of them kind of hang out, right? Most of them are of the neutral good, chaotic good. Several of them are lawful good, but it's mostly like owls. A lot of the bird kingdom. Dolphins are in that lawful, or are in like the chaotic neutral category, and you'll find them in the elemental planes, but not a lot, right? Elemental plane of air, earth, and water. Fire doesn't have a lot of natural animals that can survive there for long.
No, salamanders. fire giants, that sort of
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah. So there's like this hierarchy that you guys are discovering amongst, and for Krampus, you get this sense of, oh yeah, like it's not just like, oh, they picked me because I'm a beast and I'm an animal or something like that, or half beast, half man. They chose you because they also have an agenda, right? If the world goes to shit, there aren't any animals, right? Like while Ember is kind of worried about the land itself, right? Nature in and of itself. And Jorah is kind of concerned about the dichotomy between life and death itself, right? Not just that, but primarily, you were like, yeah, but what about all the creatures that we survive on, right? Predator and prey, right? There's a huge, if a certain animal type goes extinct, well, that affects everything. So you're getting this kind of sense of that the elder gods know this, and these are like, you're tied to them now. You're not just like an afterthought. Like, they did actually care what animals represented their elder gods, right? The people who were worshiping them cared that there was a narwhal, cared that there was the gull, cared that there was, the whale, and things like that. And you're starting to see that, and you're starting to get that sense that there's this deep connection amongst everything. Of course, Thondra's animals are more the detrivores, right?
You're right.
Scarabs, the beetles, carrion eaters, things that transfer, take the death of one thing and keep the life and death balance, moving things back and forth. So you guys are
terribly fond of Echo's fungus, mushroom buddy.
Yeah, but you're now starting to see this
underlying connection.
Yeah, this underlying connection that none of you have noticed before because you were never raised like that. You had no idea. Now that you guys are being exposed to that, things are starting to click. Like, this was a very well organized kind of religion, pantheon. Like, they got their shit together, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it took them long enough to put this together.
Yeah. Well, again, there's outstanding extraneous circumstances that cut you guys off from this, right?
Yeah.
And you've seen pieces of this in history and flashes and stuff when you were underground, but you still don't have the big picture, right? You guys have got a lot of that information stored in the stuff that you have, the stuff that you've collected, the people that you've come in contact with, and this is starting to like come across, and you're like, oh, okay. You're kind of like starting to find a pattern of connections between what happened before and what happened after. You're trying to find that intersection of what caused it, right?
Yeah.
And now you guys can go out this door. If you go out this door, you're back in the main hallway.
Okay, looking.
So, I mean, you just like open the door. You're like, oh, we came in this way. All right, back out the other way. Right, and you come down. Down here.
Yeah, I'm gonna go down there. Oh, not here.
Here, I'll move you around. There you go.
Thank you.
Let me crank this over here too.
It's Jorah.
Jorah, this does have a glyph on it.
Okay.
Like, usually, as soon as you come around the corner, you're like, because you're holding this key in your hand as you're walking around, the key kind of pulses, the glyph pulses, and you're like, okay. I can see it.
Oh.
Wasn't hard to make out this time.
Krampus, you want to open this door?
Well, do you want to use the key?
No. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So you place the key, you touch it to the symbol that's etched into the rune. You see the energy kind of, and it kind of flashes like it did before, it glows a little bit, and then it turns off. And the key kind of like goes dim a little bit.
Okay.
Okay, good.
Open
Cool.
the door.
Now, let me get everybody over here so they can see. Grab. There we go. Go ahead, open the door.
Oh, I can open it. Okay.
What you see is a large rotunda.
Mhm.
Large what?
Rotunda.
A rotunda. Basically, it's a domed area.
Oh, okay.
Dome circular room.
Think of like the center of a building. I don't know if you've seen.
Okay.
I don't know if you've seen the pictures of where we lay our senators and presidents to rest inside the rotunda at the Capitol. That huge dome that you see at the Capitol building.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's that.
Okay.
In the center is a large pillar that runs into the ceiling and beyond.
Okay. What's it made of? The pillar.
The pillar is
Same
made
material as the other one.
entirely of what appears to be some sort of metal, silver in color. You can see that this area is like a pit. That skeleton's not there, and these arrows aren't here, but it looks like a pit. Jorah, well, Krankus, you can smell, and once you look down inside it, you can see the fungus that has grown, the moss and stuff. This was probably full of water at one point.
Hey, Puddle Boy, this is like something you would have hidden.
Because this piece right here extends out and is supported by this pillar, which runs into underneath it. So this is like a ramp that just sticks out like a diving board with a pole that runs
Gotcha.
from the bottom up to it and then runs into the ceiling. And it looks like this is a well, probably full of water. You're not quite sure why there's a walkway out to this pillar for some reason. You're not sure. You know that this should have been filled with water because you can just smell it. Like you can smell the dank mustiness of it.
It's like a well that's kind of run dry, but still kind of there's still that presence of water.
Yeah.
Then let me,
I'm
like-
going to touch. I'm going to. I was going to say I'm going to touch the pillar.
Okay. Well, you have to go all the way around because this is like a 5 foot,
Okay.
and it's about 20 feet deep.
Okay.
So Krankus is kind of in the way.
I'll
Okay,
get out of
well-
the way.
All right. You want
I'll
to walk
just
up and
look at
touch
the
it?
pillar.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's metal. So, are you going to reach out and touch it?
Yes.
So you reach out and touch it, and you can feel a faint. Like it's humming with like very faint hum, almost imperceptible, except for the fact that you've like literally put both your hands out on it, and you're like waiting.
Okay. Well, I'll
It's kind of like if your car was inside the garage and you put your hand on the garage door, you can feel the motor, but it's really
Yeah,
you know there's something
Okay.
going on inside the garage, but you're not quite sure what's making that
I will
vibration.
turn around to Krankus. I will turn around to Krankus and Jorah and say, feel energy or some kind of vibration. Whether or not that's coming from below or above. But I just be aware that there's concentration of energy or something's making a very large metallic object vibrate or heat in some way. That's
I mean, we are in the
Power.
center, if I'm not wrong, and I believe if we activate this tower, I think this is the broad hold. If I'm not wrong, but this is a theory. idea that this rod will be the center of connection. Like if it, I look up, Jorgal point up.
Yeah.
If it is all the way up,
Yeah, you can see that
and
this pillar does not connect to the ceiling. It goes through a hole.
yeah,
You
then
can't
yeah, he
quite
will
see.
say,
You can't quite see, because of the way it's built. You can't quite see. It's probably beveled on the next floor. It's beveled up so as not to let people peer down from upper levels. You can't look up from the other levels. But this, you're almost entirely right. It runs the length of this temple.
yeah, I believe
Jorah, give
when
me well, both of you, or all of you, can give me a religion check.
okay, 19 again.
Yep, that seems like your number.
Yeah, I rolled a lot of 19.
Crankus? Oh,
Oh wow!
There we
so
go.
we have a
Nat
19,
20.
a 19, a 20, and a 20. All right, so you guys
Yeah.
start. You disseminate this information, and just Jorah's talking about this. Crankus, this is supposed to be filled with water.
Yep.
With all that information, you guys can assume, based on your knowledge of, Krakadon that you had, the limited knowledge of Krakadon that you have, that his big thing is like lightning and water, right?
Mm-hmm.
War, right?
Lightning and water.
So his is nature, tempest, and war.
Nature.
He is known as Krakadon of thunder and wind, the Storm Lord, the eternal storm. His symbol is the trident, a trident entwined with storm clouds. With all that information that you have, it would not be unheard of for you to understand that this should be filled with water, and it probably is a lightning rod of some sort, either magical or alchemical. This is probably some sort of conductive metal designed to, and Jorah, that water conducts electricity really well. Like,
Do you want me to fill this pool up with water?
well, you guys can discuss that, but you guys know that if this was filled with water, it would probably, like, you can tell, Jorah, by you holding that key, like everything has been like electrical. Like you can, like you can see the little arcs across the. So that if you add water to something that's electrical, it makes it more electrical. Like it amplifies the electricity.
Yeah.
Do you want me to fill the basin with water?
At the moment, when we, if I'm not, as I said, the idea of this thing may be because I don't see, but it still is very tall, and I think it's go all the way up. It's some kind of connection of the other tower, and if I activate it, it might need the water to amplify its power. Maybe I don't know.
Well, you guys do know that you were looking for the orb that is supposed to set upon something in the center of the third floor, the key room, right? The room. It wouldn't be hard for you guys to surmise that the orb probably sits atop this at the very top level. And, magically speaking, charging something that is super powerful, magical is probably a way to get it to turn it on. So you can fill it with water now, or you may have to go upstairs, put the key in, then come back downstairs and do it anyway. I don't know.
So
Let's fill with water.
okay, the big guy is at full. So the moment we activate it, Oh, maybe activated. It might wake something up of this freaking ancient thing.
What could go wrong?
Okay.
All right, how much does that make?
30-foot cube.
A 30-foot cube? All right, yeah, there's plenty of water.
Let me just check. Yeah, I can create up to 10 gallons of clean water within range in an open container.
Okay, so 30 gallons?
Yeah.
Not quite enough. Like, once you put 30 gallons in there, like I said, this thing appears to be 10 feet across and 20 feet deep, which is, what, 500 cubic feet? And a gallon of water is what? Like 1.5 cubic feet? Give or take, right?
A little bit. No, it's more than that. A cubic foot would be.
Yeah.
Yeah, about a gallon, maybe a bit more.
Maybe like a gallon and a half.
Yeah.
So you make, what, 45 cubic feet out of 500? Or out of 600 cubic feet? Right? Yeah, 25. No, 400. Yeah. So you make 45, so you make a tenth of it. Once there's water inside this, you do notice that you put some water in it, and it's like the humming gets a little louder.
Mm-hmm.
Still not any noticeable change. It's just it's kind of like if you turn your volume from 1 to 2. Right? It's not a significant change, but there is a change.
Right.
Krankus,
Okay.
give me a
Yes.
intelligence check. Yes, to recall
Sure.
knowledge. To recall knowledge. Look at you.
Oh, total.
Wow.
Krankus, you remember
Yeah.
that there is a
Yeah.
sewer hole in one of the other rooms. So there's probably, you surmised back then when you found it last time, that there's probably an underground water system. Nobody went down inside there to look if there's anything down in there. So there may be a way to get the water to flow in by itself. I mean,
So so obviously, there's sewers down here. There's got to be water down here. I'm sure there's got to be a way to open this up and get it flowing on its own.
you're gonna hop in.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right.
Are you sure you want to open? Can I stop him?
No, you can't stop him.
You want to Did you want a piggyback ride, Jorah? Come on.
You jump in a metal with electric energy, and then a water inside. Can you guess what's gonna happen to you?
Krankus, it's a little tingly.
Yoo-hoo, it tickles.
Give me a perception check.
All right.
It is. He can't get under a 20 here today for Krankus. Yeah, you find.
No.
You find down at the base, what looks like a little hand crank and a grate. And then you look over to the other side, you see there's another one.
Start cranking. That's my
All right.
name.
All right, so you start cranking this open, and water starts to pour in. The first couple of 10 gallons or so is sludge. It's not good stuff.
Yeah, this has been sitting around for a while.
Yeah, sediment collects, but because it's not flowing, it just kind of settles. So it kind of sludges out a little bit, and then it starts really pouring in.
Yep.
Krankus, do you want to stay here while it's full up?
Krankus, the tingling does not get any stronger as this starts to fill up.
This is fine. Just a little bit of pins and needles.
Yeah.
I'll look. I was thinking like I think because it's not this tower.
I need
not
to-
like
So are you staying until it fills all the way up to where you can tell where the watermark was?
Yeah, I'm waiting until it gets to the watermark.
Okay, so it gets up to the watermark. Now it's starting to get a little past the watermark, and you know that if the water doesn't leave in some way, that you're going to start flooding this place.
So I go and do the other hand crank because I assume that's the other one.
All right.
Not-
Your
not
strength is more than enough. I'm not even making you roll like I didn't make you roll for the first one. You crank this one open, and the water starts to level off.
All right.
So
now I can see
obviously,
it's-
this is like a slightly smaller, grate. So now this place is filled with water to an acceptable level. Crankus, after about a minute or two of you being in there, this water is now pretty clear, pretty clean. It's probably from an underground stream or river that feeds from either from the river or from the mountains, further to the east, right, of some way. But this is some pure water.
I relay that to the group that this is meant to be here. This is all right. This is all the water from the mountain. It's obviously directed here for a reason, and I'll climb back out now that I know it's leveled off too. I assume I can climb out.
You can hear the humming like when you put your hand on a car hood.
Yep.
Right. It's much more noticeable, but there's nothing else going on. Like you could feel a little bit of the electricity in the water, but again, it was like, eh.
So this is not what it was meant to do. There's more that's been meant to do. You said that there's got to be something else to really open it up and let it do whatever. You got a key there, Jor. So don't we have to find where the key goes and get this thing fully flowing? Not flowing, but
well, there is a door behind you, Jorah.
Yeah, I'm
Check
waiting. I'm waiting for our friend to get out.
I'm out.
Oh. And I will turn.
I go right next to Jor and I shake off like a dog.
Oh God. Yeah.
See, I'm out of the water now, man. You're
Okay,
good.
it's not like I hate water, but it. Okay, it doesn't matter. I will go
I
to
try to
the.
help you out.
I will use the key if it does have any glyph on it.
I can't hear. Rick, are you talking? I know you're not. Okay.
No, I'm not talking. Hold on a second. Give me 1 second. Trying to find the right map to put you on. Okay. So you open this door.
Yep.
And you notice a room with a stairwell across from you.
Oh, I think I know how to go up there stairs here.
Let's go.
I turn, look around to this room. I think this is the only like a hallway place just to go up to the stairs, right?
Let's
Oh,
go.
as you enter this room, you can feel. I'm getting that echo again. Like the energy emanating from these pillars that are in the room. Like,
Okay.
give me a perception check.
Okay. Where's my perception? 29.
Krankus? Ember?
23.
To do make a perception roll.
Yep.
I don't think I'm hitting the heights of 29, but we'll give it a look.
Wow.
Misspoke.
You all can hear water underneath you. It gets louder as you get closer to the center of this room. Like Jorah, you and Krankus can hear it. It's flowing underneath.
Oh.
And you can feel the humming coming off of these pillars. Quite a lot.
Okay. I am happy where there are water are. Let's go.
Krankus, as you step between the pillars,
Mm-hmm.
He's falling.
yes, you see
No,
he
yeah, I
steps
know.
he steps dead center between them, and then Kathunk.
Uh-oh.
Do I need to roll dexterity saving to avoid people?
No, but you do realise you're carrying now.
He's not Leon. He is Krankus.
Sorry.
Well, put it this way: out of you or me, who's carrying him, it's gonna be you.
I mean, you can become big and carry him.
Yeah, I know.
Who's that? Sai isn't over here yet?
I can't see if I here.
Or no, Sai hasn't moved to the...
Or could you just move me through?
No. I activated it. You're just not... I think you might need to reload. Because it's not pulling you from one to the other.
Like I say, I see their tokens grayed out in the top corner. So.
Yes.
Okay,
Because this is dark vision.
I'm reloading.
Yep.
So while Sai is trying to get back in here, Krankus,
Yes.
you find yourself in what appears to be the Dwarven Caverns, or
Okay.
a section of the Dwarven Caverns that you were in before. Why is that light not working? Oh.
One where we found all the armor and all that.
Yeah. The one you've
Okay.
been making you were writing notes about?
Yep. Yeah, the one I detailed in my book. Yep.
Yes. This is not a section you've seen before. But the construction of this area looks fine, but it looks like somebody knocked down a wall
All right.
for some reason, and you see an open cavern in front of you.
Start.
I mean,
I turn around.
is there no reaction from
forward.
Krankus? Like, hey, I opened my eye in a strange cavern. I was like, I'm gonna walk.
I do the 360. You know the 360 spin.
Well, when you
hammer.
look down, when you look behind you, it's just a long cavern, a long tunnel
But it's-
that reaches on. If you try to, are you going to try to walk down the hall back the way you came? Like back this way?
Trying to think. What crank is do? And so my sense of direction says I've never been down either direction, right?
No, you have not.
Just give me a second, be right back.
So I'm gonna go forward because I'm saying I've just figured out from the last stuff that the gods have some plan for us. So this obviously is part of their plan.
All right. As you step off of the worked stone into the cavern,
Mm-hmm.
you start to hear voices
Okay.
coming from that same kind of whispering voices you heard before when you first entered.
Okay.
But these are voices you recognize. You hear the voice of
Right. Okay.
you hear the voice of your friends. Clontil, the scruffy one. You hear him. Why did you leave us, Crankus? You could have saved us. You hear your sister's voice. Lotha. Crankus, you said you would protect me. You hear your best friend's voice. Cronog. Crankus, you were the best. But now, you've abandoned us. You hear your mother's voice, admonishing you for leaving your sister behind and not taking her with you as your friends ran the labyrinth. Crankus, you're supposed to keep an eye on her. You were supposed to watch over her. And all of that comes rushing back to the day that you were captured, when the slavers attacked your village, while you were running the labyrinth faster than anyone else, leaping from pillar to pillar, running through the cavern. And as you got ahead into this cavern, you look around and notice that this is your cavern. This is the section of the labyrinth you were in when you heard the screams coming from the rest of the village. It took you way too long to get through it. And as you move through this, you can feel yourself shrinking. Your wings disappear. The horns shrink. The wings are gone. The tails are gone. The claws are gone. The snout. You are now 5 foot tall. Scrawny little minotaur. You were the fastest. And as you make your way over to here, you notice off in the distance, you see all of your friends and family standing there in a circle.
This way or
No, this way.
All right.
This way. You see them. And as you approach them slowly, because you're not quite as fast, as you start to approach them, you see that as you get closer, you can see that their forms start to become emaciated. And then your father disappears. Your mother disappears. Hold on one. All right. We're going to take a quick 5-minute break. My son is on the phone.
Okay.
All right, we're back. Not quite.
Yeah.
Sorry about
Just
that
that
brief
down.
interruption. All right, where was it? So, Crankus, as you approach, you were in your child Crankus, the ripe old age of 7.
I take it I don't have any weapons on me or anything else.
No, this is exactly the way you were before,
All right.
and all you see
So,
is
like,
your.
I,
So at 7 years old, he's still taller then than I am now.
Yeah, he's a minotaur.
So
I'm not complaining. I'm just pointing it out.
Yeah.
He's 5 foot tall at 7. Okay.
so at this
I'm-
point, so what?
I'm-
what
I'm
yeah.
4 foot
Well,
7.
so all you okay? So there's nobody else there. It's just your family and your friends. There's no slavers back there. There's nothing
and
else.
and they just disappeared. And I feel like this is, and so I did that wisdom check to basically say, like, because I failed it, he's going full back into that moment.
Yeah.
He's feeling the same fear, and he's just running whatever direction that is.
Okay. So you're running towards them. You see.
I'm running. I'm like almost reliving that moment where I'm being chased again by the slaver. So I'm
Right.
running whichever way he ran at that point.
Right. Well, this is a little off. So you're running towards your family, in an effort to get to them before the slavers do, to stop. Your father fought and died. Your mother fought and died. Your family, your friends were either killed or taken captured. And you can see as you get closer, your father is standing there, and you see him become emaciated and then disappear. Your mother, the same thing. And then you get to them, and just as you reach out, you find yourself in the slave pens, watching your sister being sold off, never to have found her again. Later hearing that she died in the pits. Your brother never survived the travel to wherever he was taking. You haven't seen any of your family since then.
Right.
And as you reach out and grab a hold of your sister's hand one last time, as you grab it, as she disappears, you find yourself in those pits, being pulled out, and you can feel as you reach out and grab her hand, it's actually a hand that grabs back, and it is the slaver that pulls you out, puts a wooden sword in your hand, and tells you, win and you eat, lose and you'll be dead. And you're staring at, and you stare up, and there's this slaver. You know you've killed him. You know he's dead.
Mm-hmm.
But the fear of the unknown, the fear of what's to come, starts to grip you as a small child. Give me a wisdom save.
Here are the low rolls.
Here they are. You feel that panic grip you, and you're pushed out into the Colosseum.
Mm-hmm.
There's 30 people in the stands, if that.
Mm-hmm. Barely paying attention, like it's the.
Yeah, barely paying attention. And across from you is two mangy, barely fed, emaciated wolves. And you don't even have a real sword. But you remember this. You won because you're here. But the fear of this You still have the scar on your leg, on your calf, where one of the wolves got a hold of you, and it wasn't treated properly. And as you're fighting them, you hear voices telling you, "Great Slayer, what a joke. He got lucky. He was bigger than they are. He got trained better. He got to eat. He never tried to help us." And as you hear that, you see several of the slaves, when you feel yourself get slightly taller, about 5'9" or so. When you were about 12, there was a revolt. But you didn't participate. You sat. You waited. You didn't think it was worth the effort because you got fed. As long as you kept killing the people in the Colosseum, you were fine. And nobody could beat you. You've been doing this for too long. So why bite the hand that feeds you? Why try to escape? To do what? Where would you go? Your city was just, your village was destroyed. Your family is gone. Give me another wisdom save. And as those thoughts pass across you, you remember something. You remember that you did survive. Not because of what they did to you, but in spite of what they did to you. You survived because they made you survive. They didn't understand it at the time, but you would be their undoing. You would be the one who would bring them under your heel. They would feel the power of Krankous Great Slayer at one time. And as these thoughts are coming to you, you feel yourself getting bigger and bigger. Now you're back to 7 foot tall. The wings are blowing. You can hear the voices of the animal lords. The prey has become the predator. The chased is now the hunter. You will finish your lifelong quest. They're out there. They're near here. Hunt. Track. Kill. And as that, and each one of those is one of the predator animal lords. The tiger, the wolf, the bear, and all of them have stepped forward. And then finally, the last one that steps forward is the rat. He walks up to you and says, "You doubt yourself. You doubt your ability to think, to plan, to reason. That is not the case. You are wise. You are cunning. You are not dead. Your enemies are. You have found the holes when you needed to find the holes. You laid in wait. It is not all strength. Sometimes the mind is your best weapon against those who would bring you into enslavement. And forgetting that will do more damage than any bite or claw could ever do." So The two of you see Krankus standing there in like this, like motionless. You've never seen Krankus not moving. Even when he sleeps, his tail twitches, his snout, wiggles. You've seen dogs and cats and stuff sleeping like there's always something going on. Krankus is motionless, like a statue. If you didn't know better, you'd be like, tink, 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 is he made out of rock? So what are you guys doing?
I take out my dagger
Okay.
and look to Ember. Is
Not
Ember
while he's frozen. Come on now.
That is my chance, Ember.
I listen. Trust me on this when I tell you that right now that would be one of the worst mistakes that you could make. We need him on side at the moment. You
What?
can pull the pranks after. Whilst we're in the middle of a temple that is fucking with everybody's heads, please don't fuck this up.
But his eyebrow pissing me off.
I know what you're thinking.
All right. So you guys are busy. You're busy. He's like, I'm gonna do it, and Ember's like, don't piss him off. This is a really bad time. Krankus. The Rat Lord steps to the side and motions you to pass between them. And as you start to step out of the circle, there's one more Animal Lord there.
Okay.
The bunny.
No. One he hasn't seen before.
Oh.
One that's almost recognizable. It's a large creature. Massive in size. It's reptilian. You've never seen this creature before. And it leans down to you. It towers over you at almost 20 feet tall. And it leans down. And to give you an idea of what this is a dinosaur. A T-Rex. The lord of the ancient reptiles. And in a voice that rumbles in your core, he says, fight with your anger. Fight with tooth and claw and tail. Rend the flesh from your enemies. But know this. If you pick the wrong time to strike, you will die. And as you feel that rumbling, you get an image of this huge, massive creature. Like, you can't see one end or the other. All you're doing is you find yourself underneath this massive creature. Bronze scales that are as big as doors above you. And right near one of the legs, there's several scales missing. And the creature steps over you, and you hear, you turn to look to see this massive creature leap into the air with its giant wings. And you get a glimpse of this long, sinuous tail covered in bronze. And then you rage.
Yay.
I'll put your rage thing on you. There you go. And as you rage, you charge after this thing. All of the trials, all of the tribulations, all of the sorrow and mourning for your family and your friends, and all of the pain that you've suffered. And then all of the friends that you've made so far, and the pain of losing Klaxon and Leon, not knowing where they are, but knowing in your core and being told that you're right, that they're still alive. Maybe some of them are still alive as well. You leap into the air, flap your wings, and just as you get ready to latch on, I need you to make an attack roll with your bite. Jorah, does a 25 hit you?
Yeah. Like while talking, like, and he opened his mouth.
So Ember's standing here, and you guys are talking. You're like, "Don't do it! Don't do it!" All of a sudden, you just see every muscle in Krankus's body activate at one time. Like you've seen giant bodybuilders flexing, on stage and stuff.
Yeah.
Imagine if every one of his muscles activated at the same time, and he just. He hits you for 13 piercing damage as you're like, da, 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 and you see him, his maul is just lashed onto your shoulder. Krankus, you're awake now, and you have a hold of Jorah's shoulder. And not like a little bit, you have it to where if you wanted to, you could rip off the side of his whole shoulder or take him into a death roll like an alligator.
Ow.
At this point.
Ow, 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 god damn it, God, ow, yeah, I'm gonna, if that okay, because it's freaking painful. You see when you hold someone, the ball horn, and flip it, trying to get him down.
Yeah. Okay. When you do that, Jorah, when you do that, he is not, you grab a hold of him and start to twist. Krankus, are you letting go of Jorah? You know it's Jorah. Like, you were trying to bite this giant dragon thing. Because you were going for the kill, right?
Since you said I know it's Jorah, I let go, and there's a pillar there. I just start wailing on the pillar.
Every time he hits this pillar, there's sparks off of it. And he's not hitting it with his hammer this time. You see him, he is just shredding his claws across this thing. Whatever metal this is super sturdy, but after like the third swipe, he's starting to put scratches in it.
Ow! Oh, god damn it!
Ember, what are you doing? Because you've seen him like this before, and the best thing to do is just like let him finish, right?
Yeah, I'm just worried about him bringing the bloody roof down on him.
You know that it would take several. It would take several hours of him doing this to bring this down.
Okay, well, in which case I'm going to grab Jorah, pull him out of range.
Yeah.
And whilst I'm doing it, I'm going to cast Cure Wounds on him.
Okay. At what level?
Grab him in. Second level. I'll give him some.
Jorah, you did take the 13 points of damage.
Oh, okay.
Here,
I already deducted the 13.
Okay. All right. So, Krankus, you're wailing on this thing as hard as you can with every claw strike. You remember everything that you just went through. You remember your entire history. But then it dawns on you as you start to come down, right, as the initial rage and everything starts to kind of wash over you to where you're in that controlled section of it. Mm-hmm. You remember that what you were told was hurtful, painful, but it wasn't untrue, right? It wasn't a lie per se, right? It wasn't the whole truth. It was a twisted version of what happened, You were 7. Like you have come to realize that there was literally nothing you could do. The elders in the village couldn't stop them, and they were much bigger. Like your father was nearly 8 feet tall and a fighter. Like if he couldn't have stopped them, what could you have done? Right? You did what you could do. You survived to keep your family name alive and to avenge them. You've been sucked into this thing that is much bigger than you, but you've been told that those people are still that you're close to them. Like that your revenge, your quest, your life quest of punishing these people
Right.
are close. And then you were given the information of how to do that.
Right.
Everyone ahead of you, all the first ones told you that, teeth, tooth, and claw, but the rat is the one that stands out the most for you about being cunning, about making sure that, you don't always have to just go in head first, that you can plan ahead, that you can bide your time. And then the great, the Lizard King himself basically told you that when you find that opportunity, strike. And then you saw the opportunity. You now have information that you recognize the dragon. You know what it is. You've seen it before in other visions. And now you know it has a weakness. And because it has a weakness, you're pretty sure you can kill it. Now, so what do you do for the next 30 seconds while you're raging? Do you come down off of it? Do you continue to do it for the next 30 seconds to just vent?
So at this point, if I'm starting to the way I'm interpreting it is I'm basically, there was the rage of all those those years of emotion kind of bottled up and whatever else. And so with all that now, he is starting to come down, and he's kind of like that, breathing heavy and panting, but he's no longer attacking the pillar. And he is starting to,
he's not quite done. He's not quite done raging yet, right?
There's still anger there, but he's not just lashing out into at everything kind of thing.
Indiscriminately, yeah.
Yeah.
How long have we been in here?
About an hour and a half.
Okay, so it's around about lunchtime-ish now.
Yeah.
Because we left early, and it was a couple of hours walk.
It was about an hour walk. It was about an hour walk. So it's like 10:30. Like you've got some time. Right. The only reason I say it's about an hour and a half because you guys are I'm accepting the fact that you guys are not just sprinting down a hallway kicking open a door, right? It's
exactly.
You're very cautious. You guys are moving at half speed. You're being very aware of your surroundings. Joris checking every 15, 20 feet for a trap in the floor or on the wall, or you're being very methodical about this because shit's a little weird, right? So
that's why I thought it might be a bit later on.
No, it's been about an hour and a half. So you guys, it's 10:30, 11 o'clock. You're getting close, but nothing to where you would.
I will whisper to Amber Air, hiding behind her till she hear me. I'll look to her whispering, "I'm gonna shave his tail next time when I get the chance."
Well, his tail doesn't have any fur on it anymore. It's an alligator tail with spikes.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna shave something, but I don't know. But it will be more than eyebrow because of the height.
Yeah. So Crankus, you come down off of this rage. Eventually, your group is kind of staring at you with that must have been bad. Ember seems more empathetic to your blight, as it were. Right. Jorah is still kind of reeling from the couple of his armor has literal teeth marks in it. Right.
God damn it! What's wrong with you?
What can I say? We need to keep keep moving. We got stuff to do.
Mm.
Tactical boy, we gotta get moving. There's enough of this. You'll heal up. No, not a big deal. Let's get moving. By the way, when we face the big bronze dragon thingamajigger, he's got a weak point on his legs. We go after. But we can't pull a Leon. Just run right at it. Right? We got it. You and you say you're tactical. This is when it's gonna. We need all of it.
Oh,
Right.
okay. Just next time
We
if you
need
try
all of
to-
it. Hey, it's over. It's done with. We're on. We're moving on. We got stuff to do.
Kind of.
Get moving.
Okay.
I can't change
okay.
that. I can't change it.
Okay, let's go. Sorry, give me a 3 minute. I have someone in the door. I apologize.
Yep.
In real life.
In real life. And he leaves out all the part about like his child and all that. It's just basically like
Okay.
it's all about the dragon and the weakness, and that
Striking
more about,
at
like,
the right
somebody-
time.
yeah, and it's going forward. Like before, you saw like Krampus would kind of have like the big brother, little brother with Jorah. He's going to be much more focused on getting through.
Mm. Yeah.
So,
And we're back. And everyone should be up the stairs. As you
Okay.
enter this area, you notice that it is quite expansive. It seems a little larger, but then when you take in consideration the fact that the whole upper level was kind of divided up and this is just one big open area, it makes sense. You see a large crystalline formation with the pole running through it up to the next level. You can feel where the energy from that pole is pulsing through the crystals, giving off this weird feeling of being underwater or in a storm. Like you can, the pulse kind of feels like the slow crashing of waves. And then every pulse you can hear the resonance off of the crystals, and it sounds like thunder and lightning off in the distance. This faint and you see across from you a small dais with a chair, and to either side of this are two doors on either side.
Okay.
Well, I suppose I'm going to wander up towards the centre and have a look around.
All right.
After Jorah has explained what Tantalite is, this is Tantalite, and this is freaking huge. This is a uncut, ginormous, it's probably 10 feet in diameter shard, and then smaller shards that are probably 2 to 3 feet in diameter placed around it of pure Tantalite.
It's quite interesting.
Jorah, it's beautiful. To you, it's beautiful. You're having slight flashbacks of this kind of thing being done in the castle, in the main throne room. You now remember that the whole throne was carved out of this and coral, and that anytime there was any kind of magic around, it would pulse. When your father said it would pulse because of the magic he had. It would kind of give off this little pulse, and it kind of calmed people. This is not that kind of pulse. This is more of a kind of almost like a heartbeat feeling, to where it kind of gets your blood pumping just a little bit.
Yeah.
Being for all of you, it kind of gets that Crankus, you kind of get that feeling like when you're getting ready to do some exercise, you kind of warm up and you're getting that that kind of feeling like before the doors open, that anticipation before the doors open in the Colosseum, or that it's not enough to send you over the edge to get you into a battle frenzy, but you can understand how it's like that strange dichotomy between nature and war, where everything is a struggle.
Okay.
Dorogo now thinking like, this tower have a lot of deep water, like the trident we found and the tapestry, and now this old gem. It's like this tower shouldn't be in the middle of a forest. It should be in the water.
Yep.
Yeah, Yeah, no, I agree. Let's I'm gonna go round. I'm gonna go round the middle bit where the pole is,
Okay.
up to the north bit, and have a look and see what's up there. Here.
It is a intricately carved dais with one seat, and it looks like there's a small podium right here, and a place that looks like it may have had another chair. Like you can see wear marks, like 4 little scuff marks where there may have been another chair there. You don't know. You don't see one laying around. But it wouldn't be unheard of that this is where the high priest sat. This is where he delivered either sermons or daily prayers or whatever. Like I said, you do see 2 doors, one on either side. The seat itself is intricate but humble. Like, one of those it's finely crafted, but not to be ostentatious, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
you're starting to get the feeling that this was one of those religious sects that it was more about the mission than it was the people in and of itself. While they do rever them, it's not really about them.
Yeah.
So what else are you doing? Like, this seems to be like a great hall. Like, people would stand around. You would have services here. You would have whatever kind of dedication or monthly ritual, or think Pope-esque, where you come up and do the thing. Like for battles. This would be where that kind of thing might have happened. Which door? Are you guys doing anything else in this room? I mean, it's quite calming and anticipatory at the same time.
I think that I think we're going to I'm going to thoroughly search the room, but I'm not going to take anything.
There is nothing in this room. Surprisingly, this room is devoid of any accoutrements. There's no tapestries on the wall. You don't see any idolatry here. It's strictly the gym, the pole, the seat, the small podium, which is affixed to the podium, to the dais.
How clean this place?
Extremely.
Oh, clean.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like downstairs, you could tell that it hadn't been used in forever. This looks like maybe there's some sort of magic that keeps it in this condition. I mean,
maybe, yeah.
Again, you can feel like the slight static electricity, so it wouldn't be unheard of that dust wouldn't really collect much here. You're absolutely certain that there's magic going on here, but it would probably take you. It would probably take you days to figure it out, if you even did. Right? Like, this is some high level cleric mage kind of thing going on here. This is well beyond your scope of understanding. Right?
Well, and this is the second second floor, right?
Right. You came up a circular staircase that led you up and into this off of the back side. So you guys went all the way to the back. It came up from the back and then led straight in to this. Basically encompasses the entirety of the second floor, except for whatever's behind these doors.
I believe.
And Joro, when you get close to this podium, that key kind of.
It's well, I think where we need to get is the 3rd floor, but.
Oh, let me try.
I think,
Be careful.
No, yeah. So as you approach, like as you get closer to this, the dais, it's like it's kind of like you're getting warmer. It's doing that getting
Yeah.
warmer thing. Are you going up onto the dais?
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do.
Okay, so you get up there and you notice that the back of this chair, it would be hard for anybody who's not trained in the art of noticing small things and where they go, right?
Yeah.
The way it's carved, it looks like you can set this key into the back of the chair. Like it will fit into the carvings in the back of the chair and set there.
I'll go there and like look behind and see and start like fitting and see until like it click inside.
Yeah, so you place it in there and it kind of, you kind of push it in and you hear it and it locks in and the whole chair just starts to get pulse with that same kind of energy. And then the pulsing from the gem gets a little stronger, like and you hear a click on this door. It's audible enough that even Ember hears it. Like it's an audible.
I did not see the pinging, by the way. Which door?
This side.
Oh, this one.
Yeah.
I think I opened this door.
Okay. When you push open the door, as you push open, you can tell the wall where the lock would have been, right? It is a massive square, probably 4 by 4 inches. A metal bar looks like it slots in. So without that key being there, there's a metal bar. This door is not opening. It's like Krankus could bang on this son of a bitch for days because it looks like it goes in about 1.5 feet. Like you would have to take the walls apart to get into this room. Which doesn't seem like it's going to be easy to do because you can tell this is very decent construction. As you finish pushing the door open, it's a small antechamber which has a bed, a small desk, and a full suit of coral plate mail. And you notice on it that it has tantalite pieces embedded into it. There's a trident, like it's on a stand. So it's a full suit, helm and all, with a shield with the symbol of Krakadon emblazoned across the front. Another trident, and this full suit. It probably belonged to the high priest or whoever. Like, this is either the high priest's area or the highest level paladin who would work for the highest level, because it is war as well. The highest level martial character that would live here as well, right? The captain of the guard or whoever. This armor is exquisite. It may or may not be magical. The weapon may or may not be magical. The shield may or may not be magical. But as it stands, it is in pristine condition after all of these years. You're pretty sure that it's probably got some sort of magical quality to it at some point.
If it's not currently magical, it's probably of a quality that could, at the very least, be enchanted to be magical. I would suspect.
Yeah.
Well, this is in a pristine condition, as opposed to like the bed's a little worn, the dresser's a little worn, the desk definitely has stuff.
If it's in absolutely pristine condition, then the chances are it's magical. Do you want me to find out? I'll pull up the wand of magic detection.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
blinding. All 3 items
Okay.
are just blinding. I need both of you, Ember and Jorah, to give me a wisdom check first. As Ember's like, holy crap, those are really powerful. Okay. Since both of you got an 18 or higher, you have advantage on your religion check.
Okay. As a religion.
Ember doesn't, but Jorah does get a divine inspiration.
Yeah.
This is the armor of the champion of Krakadon.
Oh.
You do not know who that is. Or actually, you do know who that is, don't you?
Well, let me open
Hold on.
the note. Crocodile.
That's Captain Chuckles back at the atoll, my friend.
No, that's
It's
Robin.
empty.
Yeah, there isn't a champion that you know of. You don't know who it is. Like you
Yeah,
know
we don't
the other
know.
one.
Right.
Like you've been informed of who the other ones are. You don't know who it is. Your while your first impulse may be to take this with you, because of your ties to Thondra, you're like, this is only supposed to be used and touched and stuff by Krakadon's champion. Probably just want to shut the door, take the key with us. Like you can close it, take the key with you because nobody's getting in here without it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when you find,
Okay.
when you run across the champion or hear of the champion of Krakadon, like here's the key. There's where you go find it. Knock yourself out, right?
Yeah. Like,
But if I'm feeling particularly generous, I might port him here and port him back again.
yeah. I'm gonna look to Amber and tell her that is for Crocodile champion, Amber. I believe
Yeah.
we should leave it to the champion to come
Okay.
here.
Yeah, I haven't got.
Like nobody's gonna wear it
Unless-
except maybe Jorah, and Jorah's got his stuff, right?
I mean, I've been thinking,
I'm-
like, do I take it?
No. I think you're right. I think that we should leave it here in its holy place until its champion comes to claim it.
Well, I have other idea, but I don't. Crocodile will approve that. That we hold.
And if you're not sure, look, it's been here for a very long time. It's not in the hands of the wrong people.
Mm.
So let's leave it here in a safe location and allow Krakadon to guide their champion here. Or we can find out who it is and we can bring them here. Or tell them whatever. But I don't think we should be carrying this stuff around with us.
Okay. Okay. Go back
We should leave it
and
here.
exit the room. Wait for Amber to leave the room also, and then close the room. And
Take the key back.
yeah, before that, is that door open?
This one?
Yeah.
Oh, you haven't tried it yet, but you didn't
Yeah,
hear the
so-
same kind of thing.
I will.
Like this one has an actual, like you could tell this was a door because of your perception, right?
Oh, okay.
This one is just a door, like with a knob and everything.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. The other
So,
one,
yeah,
the other
I'll-
one, you were like, oh, there's a door, and that's a door. And then when you pointed it out, your friends were like, oh yeah, that's a door. I can tell. I can kind of see that. And then when you pushed it open, they're like, that's why we keep Jorah around, right?
So yeah, I'm gonna take off the key and
You take it off, and you hear the same shink. Like it's locked. And then you guys are going through this door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, that leads to a small hallway which has a couple of small alcoves that look like they have beds in them, or were for sleeping. You come across another door with the symbol on it. Jorah uses the key. The door opens, and as soon as that door opens, you can smell this foul ichor It just wafts over you. Ember.
Prestidigitation.
Well, it's not helpful. This
It makes me feel better.
This is the same kind of stench that would be found around Sarkathel. Right? This is the same kind of just odious, mellifluous. You guys have all smelled this before. This is the same kind of stuff you got off of the aboleth, like that same kind of dank, funky kind of thing. Do you head up the stairs? Okay.
Yes.
At this point, considering the time, it might...
Yes. Well, I'm getting to that. I'm getting to that. Give me 1 second. I have to put
not that I wish to piss on anyone's battery, but
Yes. Ember. Jorah. Where'd Ember go? I need to get Ember on the map. Yeah, hold on a second. Crankus on the map. I need to fix this light source as usual. So you find yourself in what appears to be the upper room. There is a glowing orb in the center, pulsing with purplish light. The windows outside the view continuously changes. And hovering above this is this creature. Or thing.
Look to Amber. One of the family?
And we're going to end it there as you hear interloper, food, chaos, life. Seems like it doesn't. Seems like it doesn't know anything.
One of the uncles.
And we're going to end it there before we roll for a niche. Yeah, you guys have found your way to the top. You see Sarthakel's orb sitting there, but you can see the energy kind of being siphoned into this black pool of gooey whatever.
It's like, is it what like in describing is like gooey flying ball with tentacles?
Think of if an ooze and a beholder
merged together.
Yeah, went out into the deep dark elder realms and then it had a baby and then sent it back here to drain power.
Oh god!
It is the bagpipe of evil.
Yes, it is definitely a bagpipe of evil.
Yeah. I mean, that's the best description I've heard. It's making all the right noises as well.
Yeah.
That's what the noises that go with it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And when you heard that, it's like most of the time bad guys tell you, "Oh, I'm going to slay you." This one, it just seems like random words are coming out of it, right? Like it's like each word is supposed to have some sort of meaning to it, but you're not quite sure what it means. It was like death, life, food, right? Like,
Yeah, Uncle S is basically his mind is so broken that he can't form coherent, intelligent sentences anymore. I think.
no, but this is not him. But this seems like it would definitely be something he could figure out.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Oh, getting a little background. We'll start with Manam. Manam, your favorite Jorah moment today?
Well, I loved how there a moment for him when he stand from this what they call urn
Yeah.
and thought for a moment was the right thing to do front these dead people that I think their ashes or what remain of them, and they made his decision to pray to Thundra. I think that is wise. Oh, it's not cool. It's wise. Oh, like
Yeah.
feeling.
Oh yeah,
moment for him.
definitely. Definitely.
And
I'm surprised you
and,
didn't open one. I was terribly surprised that you didn't open one to see what was inside.
Believe me, it is in my mind. But as I said, this is the first time when I ask morally that Jorah at the moment, and you point the connection, him
Yeah.
and Thundra. So that's why he did not open it immediately.
Yeah.
And he take a thought of that. And I loved how you put the other mind of.
Well, that was your
Jorah
well, that was your first thought. Like you
Yeah.
did that, not me. Like that was your first thought. Like, what are these things worth? Right? Like,
Yeah. And the funny part that I wish I did it, missing the part to shave the other eyebrow for Clankus.
I mean, he did bite you. You might as well have gotten something out of it, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna get. Yeah, I think this cool moment, and of course there are moments of him looking around, his skills of finding around, and the scariest moment is when he removed the glyph of ward when that is a scary part for him.
Oh yeah, that could have gone really, really bad for you guys.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Jorah most definitely. You guys tangentially.
Well, I put it this way: I did retreat into another room because I was scared of the consequences. So
Yeah. Sai, your favorite Jorah moment?
I mean, disabling the glyph was really cool. That's a really nice, and it demonstrates a value that Jorah has to the party that doesn't involve backstabbing people. And it's not just about sneaking around. It's about exploration and the other skills that he brings as well. And that was kind of a nice moment. I also really enjoyed the no. Look, now is not the right time. All right, seriously, we're in the middle. We're in the middle of a fucking spire that is controlled by chaos, and you want to think about shaving his fucking eyebrow now?
What is more
Seriously?
chaotic? Like seriously, what's more chaotic than doing that now,
I
right?
know, and I'm trying so hard to keep everything just keep it all on track.
Tom?
It was it had to be the high level glyph. I mean, he was just that was the whole like he was gonna pour every single thing he had into that. Like if he was like one of those things where he was shaking out he was digging in the cushions in the couch for extra change if he could just to get anything. He was turning out the pockets trying to find anything that would help him out. It was and then he came up with a 39. It was funny because he had a 33 to start with.
Yep.
And it's like, that's not good. Like that's classic. That's not good enough. I still need more. It's like, no, you have the answer key. No. I want to go check Google too. No, that's the answer. No, I'm checking Google. I'm checking an encyclopedia from 1954. I'm checking every single resource I
Everything.
have.
Can I phone a friend? Can I phone a friend? Right.
Yes. Can I eliminate 2 wrong answers? You already know they're wrong. What do you want to
Well,
eliminate?
no, I mean, to be fair, to be fair, I think the inspiration was the phone a friend.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
To be fair, it was a 30. That it was required. It was a 30.
But I think
But
he rolled a
even so-
33 to start with, right?
Oh yeah, he rolled a 33 to start with, but I'm not going to stop him from.
He rolled.
No, he rolled a 33.
29.
No, he
I
rolled a
rolled a
33.
33.
No, he
He
rolled
rolled
a.
33.
Yeah, he rolled a
He rolled a
33, and then rolled a 3 and a 3.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, but the DC was a 30. I mean, it's a 9th level glyph of warning.
Yeah, it is. But
I mean-
that to me was typical Jorah. Like, I mean, I wouldn't see, in my mind, like 33. What could beat that, right? Like what is it going to be beyond that? And he's like, no, I'm still going. I'm dumping everything I got.
Yeah,
I got everything.
Well, that's.
like,
I mean, that's
to be
not
sure.
a bad. That's not a bad way to think about it. I mean, you're in a place where like you're looking at this glyph and you're like, holy shit, that's bigger than I've ever. Like this thing is massive. You know, having the self awareness is like I'm good, but
Yeah.
you know, like I said, doing everything you can to make sure you succeed. That's that is completely Jorah, right?
No, it is. That is so on brand.
Yeah, it is so on brand. It's like, yeah, I'm good, but I can be better. Sai, your favorite Ember moment?
I mean, the little speech at the beginning was nice. I like the bit the bit that was just after that when she was like, "Well, come on then," and I just walked up to her and gave her a hug.
Yeah.
That was a. I thought that was. I just thought, what is the least? What is the way that she is least expecting me to try and deal with this? Let's go with that one. And gave him a big hug. Yeah, I like that moment, and I also like the convincing Jorah not to do the eyebrow shaving thing. That was also quite good fun as well.
I think that was more important than convincing your evil twin not to kill you. That's because Krampus would have woke up and probably just kept chewing on Jorah.
Yes, I know.
There are no mirrors. You would have no idea.
Yeah. Tom, your favorite Ember moment?
So on a personal player, I do appreciate that he did prevent Jorah from shaving Krampus or somehow, otherwise disfiguring Krampus. I do though the speech, and that's all. I mean, probably because I'm watching the show right now. But if you ever watch the show Yellowstone, especially the beginning of the speech was perfect. Beth, like that corporate. Actually, I don't know if you've watched the show or not. Where she's like, her whole job is to kill people, like emotionally. And the first part of that whole thing was just like this. I could so see that character giving that same speech, especially like because her in the first few seasons, it's just like she just tried to destroy her brother Jamie in every possible way emotionally. I could see her almost saying that word for word to him, like you were basically gonna be nothing. You know, like so it's just like I could see it like coming out. That to me, I got a lot of amusement out of that. So
I saw the GIF. I
have to say that was a clutch play. To be fair, took me by surprise. I'm like, a hug? I'm like, huh? Well, what do we do with this? Like you kind of put me on the back foot there for a second. I for sure was like, mom stare, bitch. Like, you want to roll? Let's roll.
No, that was the whole point. I knew going down that path was the wrong path. At that moment, the worst way to deal with that situation was violence. The best way to deal with it was make the other one blink.
Oh yeah.
And I made her blink just enough for it to work. That's all I needed to do.
Yeah.
And that was my mindset. And the other thing was, it gave me that thing at the beginning gave me an opportunity to explain some of the stuff that's been going on in Ember's head for a very long time. You know, it's one of the things about one of the somewhat misunderstood things about Ember is whilst she's ego driven.
Yeah.
To a large extent, but it's not ego driven because she's doing it for reasons other than most people think that she's doing it.
Right.
And the
Oh,
way that
no.
it comes, and the way that it comes across is very kind of condescending and arch and everything else, and that's kind of deliberate.
Yeah.
The reason why she's doing it and what she does is it's not about control and dominating, and it's not about it's not about making others worship her. She doesn't need that. She's already had that and gave it up. So
Yeah.
that was it. You know, she went. I'm bored of that shit. I don't need people to worship me, but I need something in my life that gives it meaning and purpose. What would that be? And that's where that came from. So.
Jorah, your favorite, Madame, your favorite Ember moment.
Yeah, as everyone said, the first speech, I loved every sentence, word that she gave it to herself. I feel like she, like, I don't know if Ember herself, knowing she talking to idea of someone in the future that might be her, but as she look at the mirror and like she telling herself
Mm.
what in her mind, and I love that part, that when in the end that if I remember right, uh, li- live in shame, live in shame
Live in shame
and
and
die
die empty.
empty. I felt that last one is like throwing back to her. If I did that, I will live in shame and I will die empty.
Oh
And
yeah.
I
Yeah,
Oh, it was a
so
great. It
that
was
yeah,
a great character moment. Finally, like Ember telling the one person that's not going to tell anybody else how she's really
yeah,
doing. Like it was a perfect moment for Ember to get all that off of her, off of her chest and off of her mind emotionally,
mm,
but
mm.
still not let anybody else know. Right?
yeah. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's why I'm
It
telling
was.
the only person who gonna hear that is herself, because
yeah.
as I said, she's exactly looking at her mirror and
Yeah.
telling that to herself. I feel every word she said, I'm telling that to myself to remind myself
Why?
I'm not gonna like
Yeah.
I'm not gonna reach that, and I will live the thing that I decide what to do. And I love that. And as you said, like the hugging part, that come attack me, come
Oh,
hit me. Like in my mind, also like what kind of spell like she gonna hit her? But especially when she said, "I'm gonna grow in her size." So okay, is that a challenge? And the same time, when she hugged her, it reminded me that Amber actually play as a mother,
yeah.
and it felt even herself that not felt sorry, is more like, and I am also want to protect myself and you.
Yeah.
That is
Oh,
myself.
yo,
And
it was a beautiful moment.
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, that's definitely up there with one of the top character driven moments that we've had in a long time. That being said, let's get to another one. Tom, your
I
favorite
mean,
Crankus moment.
besides ripping into Jorah like a raw steak, and I mean it's the flashback. I mean
okay.
that whole. I mean, I was actually. I mean, you were doing a great job of describing it and all that, and like, but I was actually almost physically getting angry or scared, like that. You know, the visceral reaction to
Yeah.
it.
Mm.
And so, so that was that whole whatever you want to call it, flashback or all, whatever you want to call it. Krampus.
The mind screw that is
Yes.
the chaos trying to warp you into its own, like
Yeah.
depending on how you react to it. It's one of those things, like I did that for everybody. Like, how do you react to facing what you could have been doing, like
Right.
you could have been this broken person, but you didn't.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
a good portion of that is because you were with Claxon, you're with Ember, you're with Jorah, you're with Leon. Like, those people, those connections that you've made are your family now, right? and that's why that kind of hurts so much. And then, but no, I loved your reaction to it. Like that I'm going straight for it.
No.
Like,
Yeah.
that was awesome to me. Like I love that kind of stuff. Sai?
I mean, there was that whole interaction was fantastic, and it was Krampus kind of. In the past, I don't think Krampus has forgiven himself to some extent about things that have happened that he felt he could do something about, even if he couldn't. And it was good to see him get to a point where he could actually just let all that shit go, or at least some of it. And that was really nice. I like that.
Yeah. Like, yeah, definitely. And that's kind of where I came at this from, because Tom, the way you've been playing Krampus, especially like with, Klaxon leaving and Leon leaving, this kind of overarching theme for Krampus has been, loss of family, loss of friends, loss of and every time it's been one of those things where, why didn't I stop why didn't I put the blade into the monster and disappear instead of Klaxon? Why didn't I make sure that Leon was with us when we teleported? Why didn't I save my family? Why didn't I save my friends? Why didn't I do this? And you played that since you started, right? Even the poor little knucklehead that basically betrayed you guys in the beginning that nobody else saw, just in your first character thing that you did to start these characters that I did with you, you were the same way. Like, he betrayed you, and that was like the worst thing ever. Like, that was like, you can get over pretty much do anything, but you were my friend, you were our friend, and you stabbed us in the back and turned us into the bad guys and just screwed us. Like, that was the worst thing you could ever do to Krampus, and kind of set that tone for him throughout this campaign. And I loved how you did that, and I wanted to kind of bring that back around to you. Manam, your favorite Krampus moment?
Yeah, like both of you said that. What also in my mind, the idea of question in his mind, and I'm happy that he succeeded that wisdom to get that answers. That I believe Krampus need these answers. That what happened to me, and each what happened to him, it have an answer. And with the slaves, with his family, like I was 7 years old. It's my fault. No, it wasn't my fault. I was 7 years old. Even the elder couldn't do anything. Why didn't I kill these people who slaved me? Because I wasn't ready
I'd say yeah. I would say that in his mind for the longest time he didn't even, like, how was I gonna say this? So like him as 7 years old, it was like I ran and I got caught. He didn't even think, and seeing that his father died actually helped, because it wasn't like, oh, I should have stayed and fought because if my father died, then there's nothing. He almost blamed himself for being too quick, too fast, and being too selfish. But then to your point, like if his father, who at that point at 7 years old, your father's still a god, right?
Yeah.
If your father died, then what would you have done? But there's
Yeah.
still
Right.
stuff that he hasn't forgiven himself for. So, but sorry.
Yeah. Well, no, and that's the thing. The one thing about all of these, the one for all of you, this is not stuff that your characters are unaware of. It's stuff that your characters are loath to confront because of the bigger issues in front of you and what's going on. But Krampus didn't learn anything today that he didn't already know. Ember didn't learn anything today that she didn't already know about herself. Jorah didn't learn anything that he didn't already know about himself. Right? These were internal fights between who you present yourself to everyone else and what your core being is. And I hope that they turned out the way you guys expected them to, or were in line
That
with
was
what
good.
in
It
line
was-
with what you thought your character would be when you started.
Oh,
Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's
The other me was very much the other me. I mean, that's very much who I could have easily have turned into had I chosen unwisely on a few occasions.
at least the other you is illusion. The other freaking me is freaking inside me.
Yeah, well, there is that. Yes, there is that.
But that was what I mean. But that's what you learned. Like
Yeah.
you kind of came, like you kind of knew that in the back. But this was
Yeah.
kind of one of those things that like forced you to like force Jorah to go, shit. Yeah, I'm technically two people fighting for control. What do I do? Right. And for Krankus, it's here's all this pain I've been shouldering and burying deep behind me, which kind of fuels my rage, for the most part. But is it helping? Should I like confront some of that stuff? And I hoped that wasn't too much. But let's go on to Manam. Your favorite story, DM, NPC moment for the day.
I love the description of Krankus back, like the story that happened to him when he when he told him the moment he entered this cabin and he shrinked, the wings gone, his size become the younger himself, and when you start describing his mother telling about his sister, and each that description giving his backstory, it's felt. And one of the things that hit me that when one of the slaver that when give a weapon to Crank is the way you describe him, that take this weapon, if you win you're gonna feed or eat, if you lose you're gonna die. And these details, it hit the emotion of the player and the character himself, like to remember what these detail happen. And
Yeah.
of course the other thing that I love the description of the second floor, the armor, hey, these for the other champion. And one of the things that I loved when I asked you, because there are two people inside Jorah, about the moral now in Jorah, and you give me that saving throw. I hope I barely succeeded, right? But
It was close.
I do.
That was a close one.
Yeah, yeah, it's like whisper. They're dead. You're an idiot. They will not use it. They are dead. You are like a champion of Thandra.
Yeah.
I love how you put these all together. Like it's amazing for me. It's cool.
Well, thank you.
Like when you put all these together, like, wow, how do you keep up with all that?
I have a notebook, and I do rewatch the streams. Just a note for anybody who's a DM who's watching. One trick that I do that I tell new DMs to do after these sessions, I forget about you guys until Monday. I don't do anything for your story. I don't do anything for the game for 2 days to let that kind of everything that's happened sit back in the back. And then I'll go through and it's like, I'll kind of fast forward through the session, check my notes, and then start thinking about it to let that kind of stuff kind of sit in the back of my head. Because trying to do that, if you just go from, oh, okay, here's the session done, here's what I want to do next week, you miss things because you haven't thought about, those little pieces, like what's going on with Jorah. Those little pieces of like, Krankus still has to do this, like when I described the room with when I get Krankus information about the animal lords and the elder gods, like those are things you'll miss if you're just focusing on moving the story forward. Sai, your favorite?
I have to say, I mean, as much as I enjoyed my interaction with myself, and I did, I do that sort of section with Krankus when he was going back younger and kind of facing his stuff, and the bit with the different beast lords and everything else. I thought that was really good storytelling.
Well, thank you. Tom?
I mean,
Now
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
wondering.
that's-
I'm wondering what Tom says because I saw Tom's face when I said something at the really beginning with Ember, and I want to know if he caught it. I know he caught it, but nobody else has mentioned it yet.
Oh, I can't remember. My memory's a freaking Swiss cheese.
When I
know
mentioned Tharza Dune, and I told you his name. Do you remember? Did anybody write down what his name was?
Who? Tharza Doom?
Yeah,
Yeah, I wrote Tharza Doom down. And that rings a
his
bell.
title. No, his title.
Yeah.
No, his title. Right after that, the words that come after that. Because I said it, and Tom went. His face lit
the
up.
Chained Oblivion.
Yes.
The Chained Oblivion.
Yes, yes,
Yes.
yes.
Tom, because I said that and I could see Manam and Sai processing Tharza Dune. This is the guy behind it. This you're doing all the math and the squiggly notes and all that stuff like that. And Tom went, "Hey, motherfucker!"
Now, by the way, it's come back now. The thing that flew over my head.
Yes,
come back.
yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
that was
No,
also a
you're-
nice touch. That was also a nice touch.
All right,
no,
but-
now you said, of course, that's a duh. Yes, I remember you said that. I'm like, yeah. Well, this is the title of the entire thread. Maybe this is important. Yes. It's like you're reading a book, and the book's title is like some character's name, and you finally meet the character. You're like, yeah, maybe I should pay attention to that character.
Maybe we should.
maybe this
Yeah.
this might be an important footnote.
Yes.
But what were you going to say
That's my
before
problem.
that?
I mean, before that, it was I didn't specifically on like Krankus's part. Like, no, I didn't remember that. That was good. That I do the Oblivion Unchained. That one was like okay. Was in Krankus's with a different way. Like I knew what you were trying to do, and like all the different ways you were trying to like basically like in essence shatter him or whatever. Like the parents, the sister, and and then in like not it wasn't just one thing. It was like this whole different series and very descriptive events of in the fight, like his first fight in the fight, almost like the first initial view of the fighting pits. Then him not, there's a rebellion and he basically says, no, I'm good. Like the selfish thing, like why am I giving this up? I am like. And in my mind, I'm kind of like the champion of this. Why am I fighting against this? I'm getting the feast at the end of the fights, and I'm not scared of any of you. Why do you care? Like kind of thing. Like this is kind of like he's living that just the reminder of the disillusionment of when he was the fight. The best of the fighters in the pit. Like basically, like, well, I'm the champ of these pits. I'm good. I don't need to rebel against this. Forgetting what it was like. In my mind, it was him. He had blocked all of that out. Like basically, like he got into such a survival mode that once he got to that point, it was just like, well,
just keep surviving. Yeah, I'm not dead yet.
My best chance of survival is just to sit here because no one's gonna beat me.
Yeah, and it was only like 6 years. It's been 6 years. You think of that 6 years of having to do that day in and day out of fight for your food and fight for. At some point, you're like. Yeah. Okay. I'm in charge. Cool.
Okay. Yep.
I mean, that's like being the capo that ends up going to jail for tax evasion. You're really not in jail, really. Like you're eating good. People respect you. You're getting all the goods. Yeah, you're not at home in front of the big screen, but you might have a big screen in the like it's one of those things. And I was trying to make sure. Go ahead.
I was gonna say it's almost like in Shawshank with I would say not quite, but like what's his name's character? Morgan Freeman's character, like in the prison, he was the guy, he was very important. I'm not quite in that, in a different way, right? But he was the guy that everybody came to, and he had all this power and everything else. He was in the outside world. He's like, he's nothing. He's actually less than nothing, right?
Yeah.
So like Krankus could always see that happening. Like, why would I want to go out there? I'm going to stay in prison. I don't care that I'm up for parole or here's my chance at freedom. Like, I'm somebody important here.
Yeah. Yeah. I was hoping again. That kind of subject matter is really tough to discuss, and whether we're talking about it in real life or in a fantasy setting, those are kinds of things that upset people. They really, some people try to avoid those. I'm not one to avoid that kind of thing. because it's a reality. It happened throughout human history. It's in the game as a thing, and I think avoiding it does a disservice to not acknowledging that kind of thing and acknowledging the fact that there are millions of people who survived it and then went on to do great things that advanced the human species. Right? We acknowledge the fact of how bad it is, that it was wrong, that it's something that we should strive to make sure that we never ever see that again, and fix those problems that lead to that or could lead to that still. But as a matter of course, avoiding the issue doesn't seem to be like I'm one for any kind of situation. We should discuss it. It should be an open, honest discussion. And if there's someone, I want to apologize ahead of time. Apologize if it upsets someone who's watching the stream or watching this on YouTube. But it's a reality of things that happened before. It is a reality of this specific world. Those kind of things happen. Those kind of people exist. And this character, Krankus, is a product of that. And to kind of gloss over that kind of thing and kind of a just, cursory kind of mentioning it, I think does a disservice to not only the character who was well thought out, but the person playing the character who did a great job of portraying this person. But it also does a disservice to everyone who watches it, who expects us to continue to put out good content, real content, where the characters' lives and their decisions have a direct impact on who they are and what the world is around them. So that's my soapbox. I will climb down off the soapbox real quick. If any of you guys have anything you'd like to add to that, you're more than welcome to. Of course, these views are mine and mine alone. Don't extend them to Wizards of the Coast or any of our sponsors. Again, my belief, and mine alone. If anybody wants to add anything, that's up to you. But I'll leave a small window for you guys to mention anything if you want to. Sai, you're nodding, but I don't hear you.
No. I said I'm good. I'm. I think that's a fair and reasonable point.
All right, Tom or Manam?
At the same here, yeah.
Okay.
Agree.
Then we will move on to much more fun and exciting things next week. Fighting a big bad and see what happens when you turn on one of the spires. What happens when you flip the light switch?
Oh,
Turn the power on. What's actually going to happen? You guys don't know. You're like, we're supposed to fix these. Is this going to fix it? You flip the power switch and see what happens. You could melt all your faces off. That's one thing I love about you guys. Like, we're supposed to do this. Do we know what we're doing? No, not really. We'll give it the old college try. Hey, you guys wandering around here is like, well, put the globe on there, flip the switch. You okay? Yep. Cool.
The word is okay. We need to get out to see.
Yeah, what happened? Like, what's it look like from the outside? No, I'm very pleased at how everything worked. Again, Sai, I'm glad you're feeling better. I know you've been dying to tell this broad off for 2 weeks now.
You're muted.
You're muted again, Sai.
You're still muted.
Yeah, no, I did. No, I enjoyed that. But yeah, no, I just so people know, I had COVID for like just over 7 or 8 days.
I can't confirm. He's been itching for 2 weeks to give that speech.
Oh yeah, he was so mad. That was kind of like when I dropped that bomb on Manam and then said, and that's where we're gonna end it. And he's like, "You're gonna what?
Yeah.
You son of a bitch!" I get to tell her off and then go, You gotta wait, son of a bitch.
Well, to be fair, it did give me a chance to refine it, so it was a little more. It got everything I wanted to say.
A little more eloquent.
5%.
Yeah, a little more eloquent than you bitch.
Yeah, well, yeah. Both are good under the right circumstances.
Yeah. I want to thank our sponsor, comicworld.com. We will be back next week. This has been season 4, episode 8. What did I make the title of this one again? Both sides of the coin. I'm getting better at it. I'm getting better at naming these. One of the ones that popped up on my because I follow myself apparently. One of the ones that popped up the other day was the one for what a wonderful smell you found, Jorah. From season 2 from the library. It came up and I was like, wow, I love that title. That's kind of great. Well, it's of course everybody knows it's a reference to Star Wars. What a wonderful smell you found, princess.
Yeah. When it gets them into the trash compactor. Yep.
Yeah. And then they almost get eaten in the trash compactor. Yep. Aren't you a little small for
then almost get crushed. Shut down all the trash compactors on the.
Oh, they're dying. We're too late. We don't want to quote too much. I don't want to get a strike here. That being said, we will see everybody back next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. This has been Oblivion Unchained. I'm the Loophole King. These are the fellas. May all your draws be lands. May all your rolls be crits. Sign off here from Bucci's Room of the Dark Side of the Moon. Have a great weekend, and see you, everybody.
Yep. Take care, everyone.
See you, folks.
Bye now.